What is going on? I am so excited, kind of sad, but really looking forward to today's episode because it's the finale. We are ending season 1 today, right now, and it's going to be a pretty quick one. This is not going to be the longest episode. However, it's probably the most important one. I just want to say, if you've been here listening to the podcast this entire time, you've watched every episode every single week, thank you. I really hope that everything that you're getting from each episode is really hitting something, right? Whether it's just hitting the level of entertainment you was looking for the week, or it's actually getting you to think. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's getting you to think and kind of apply some things to your own life. However, regardless of why you're here, you have no idea how grateful I am. I'm excited about season 2, but also sad that season 1 is coming to an end because I've really enjoyed doing this. This is actually really fun to talk about it. But today, going to be really simple. It's not going to be the longest episode because we've talked about so much, and today we're just tying it together. And the main thing that's so important for you to know and understand, you are the table. We keep talking about the table, the relationship, right? You are the table. You are the relationship. Everyone you connect with is a reflection of you. I will say that forever and ever and ever. All the people that you come into contact with is a reflection of you, which means whatever we're bringing to the table is ourselves. It doesn't matter what you have that you bring to the table. What matters is who you are coming to the table. And naturally who you are is going to bring what you got too. Do you know what I mean? If you are naturally somebody who works hard, works smart, is very loving, very giving, very much open to receiving, very aligned, you're going to bring an alignment to the table and naturally receive it back. We've talked a lot about how, relationships really do reflect who you are. They're an extension of you. Even if somebody has a completely different personality with one person, they will shift and they will mold to who they need to be in your life so that you can learn what you need to learn, grow how you need to grow, and connect the way that you need to connect. This is just the universal fact when it comes to relationships. However, we have really truly learned that relationships are so outside of us, that they're not actually this thing that we have to look within about. But I mean it when I say it actually doesn't matter what relationship you get into. Every single relationship is just building your relationship with yourself more and for it to be better. That's why every ex you've ever had, every friend you've ever had, just teaches you about you. Just teaches you about what's going on inside. Every problem you've ever had in any relationship, any situation you've ever had with connecting with people, it's just teaching you about you. It's giving you the opportunity to fully understand who you are, what you accept, where your boundaries stand, where your standards truly are. Because you've spent your life being told what you're supposed to think and how you're supposed to move with a little bit of free will to move and maneuver through that. But every relationship you have just kind of comes in to say, hey, by the way, boo bop, this is the life that you're living. And so I'm going to give you what you're aligning yourself with to see whether or not it truly is what you want. It truly is what you're asking for. It truly is what you're ready for and where you're willing to go in life. Every relationship you have is really reflecting you. It's really throwing back to you what it is that you probably cannot see, or what it is that you are seeing and simply not changing, or just simply not changing that needs to be changed, healed, learned, whatever the case may be. So when we think about what are we bringing to the table, the reason why I started this podcast in the first place is because I think the question isn't necessarily the issue. It's the answers we're looking for that is. Doesn't matter what physical things you bring to the table. If you're not at the table, there's no relationship. There's no connection. There's nothing to actually talk about, really. Right? You are the table. Instead of looking at what you bring to the table, this is where you have to ask yourself, why am I aligned with this person at this table? What is this person here to teach me? What is this person here to help me understand about myself? What am I here to do for this person? How is this an equally yoked situation, regardless of how you view them, regardless of what you think about them? Every person, whether you deem them below you or above you, when you come into contact with them, it's an alignment of some sort. And it is really up to you to understand why you've aligned in this way, why you guys are sitting at the same table. It is not for you to point fingers and blame other people for not showing up a certain way and just look at yourself and not take any accountability for anything. It's actually for you to recognize that you've aligned with this person for a very, very specific reason. And if you allow yourself to get rid of the idea of things being surface level and outside of yourself, and you actually allow yourself to take in why and how people can be in alignment with us that doesn't necessarily feel like they should be, you'll start to learn the lesson. You'll start to learn yourself. You'll start to grow in ways that you've never grown before, because you're not just looking at relationships as something that's supposed to fulfill you or supposed to show up a certain way, but you're looking at relationships for the way that they show up. And relationships show up for you. They show up for you. They show up as mirrors of you. Yes, it's difficult to see that someone's mirroring you when they're not doing exactly what you do, and they don't look exactly like you look, but that doesn't mean they're not mirroring something. Usually, whatever it is that the person is mirroring to you is actually much harder for you to see within yourself. So it does take a little bit of digging. But a lot of the things that irk us about people, a lot of the things that we judge the most about people, it's telling us something about us, telling us something about our belief system, telling us something about what we tolerate in life, telling us something about what we need to understand, where we need to hold more compassion, where we need to have more boundaries, etc. I mean, the list goes on in all the different kinds of lessons. But the reason why there's so many relationship issues in the world is because we have really done ourselves a disservice by not actually enhancing the relationship with ourselves. Then we added on love, and we made love a very, very commercialized thing, something to, almost be popular for, or to kind of just fit society's norms of you're supposed to get married at this age, and every person that comes into your life is a potential husband or a potential wife. We've let go of the idea that relationships actually are here for you to teach you something, and naturally they will place themselves where they need to. We actually don't have to give a person a title. We don't have to give the title of you're going to be my lover, or you're going to be my friend, or you're going to be my X, Y, and Z. Our energies do that naturally for us. But when we are forcing things to happen, when we think we're supposed to have something by a certain time, or we think things are supposed to go a certain way, we tend to make things fit. So instead of seeing relationships as something that's going to teach us something, as something that's going to mirror something back to us, that is really meant for us to have with ourselves and see what we're calling into our lives and then connect naturally, we are placing the idea, the title of what a relationship is supposed to be. A love relationship is supposed to look like this. A friendship is supposed to look like that. We have rules around these things. And I get why, right? I understand why, but that's where we do ourselves a disservice. So when we ask, what do you bring to the table? We're still doing ourselves a disservice because we're not allowing our energies to speak. We're not allowing our truths to speak. We're instead looking for, what can you provide me? What can I provide you? How can you enhance my life? How can I possibly enhance your life? It's low-key a competition. It's low-key, I have this thing that I need to fulfill, and I need to know if you're going to fulfill it. But if we naturally connected off of energy, if we allowed ourselves to understand that everything we're aligning with has everything to do with what's going on inside. So we spent more time taking care of us, more time taking care of ourselves, more time really building a relationship with ourselves and naturally allowing ourselves to align with who we need to align with. Whatever someone is supposed to be in your life will naturally happen. If this is supposed to be professional help, it will naturally align that way. If this is someone that's supposed to be in your life to be a friend, a long-term forever friend, it'll align that way. If this is someone that's just supposed to enter your life for a few weeks, it'll align that way. And you won't be so caught up in what the relationship is supposed to be, painting an illusion around what the relationship is supposed to be. And instead, you'll accept that you are the relationship, that you've called this in for a reason. And you guys either have the ability to grow together, right? Because it benefits one another. Or if it breaks apart, then that means you've benefited each other enough to learn whatever lesson you need to learn or experience what you need to experience with one another to learn that lesson and move forward. And the concept is so much easier because we have what we believe is love, but a lot of times it's attachment. And a lot of times we're less attached to a person than we are to a storyline, an idea. If for your whole life you've only ever dreamed of being in a relationship that's so loving and so amazing, being in a relationship that's similar to your parents, and then you find someone, that's all you're focused on. You're focused on creating a relationship similar to your parents, which means you'll neglect the red flags if it fits on paper. You'll neglect the energetic truth. You'll neglect the truth of it. You will paint an illusion to make it fit because you want what you want so bad. And we do this with all of our relationships, platonic and romantic. So now we're in a position where we are starting to be independent. We are really understanding, whoa, I am of value. I don't necessarily need somebody else to tell me that I am of value. And that's a beautiful thing. But we're asking, what do you bring to the table? What can you do for me that I can't do for myself? Everyone can show you what you can't see for yourself. We need connections. We need people. That's never going to go away. We are naturally the type of people that like to connect with one another. That's never going to go away. But it's not about how are you going to enhance my life? It's what aligned me with you? Why are we aligned? How is this in alignment? What part of this is in alignment? What part of this relationship is in alignment? And you will find out through your energy, through what it is that you worked on. Instead of forcing something to fit, instead of trying to fit something into what it's supposed to be, you'll actually allow it be what it already is. You'll allow someone to enter your life and become exactly what they need to become in your life. And that right there is a flex. Because when you are energetically aligned with people, you will see how you mirror each other. You will see how it just flows. You will see that there's a very clear difference between the people that you are really aligned with, that you can grow with, that you can become better with, versus the people that you force to fit the situation, that you are just sticking around for time, history. You're the table. And too often we're trying to figure out how to make the relationship better. The relationship can't be better if you're not getting better, if you're not being your authentic self. Because you will always just try to conform. And this doesn't mean that you can't cooperate. This doesn't mean that relationships don't matter, that you shouldn't put effort and you should only be selfish. But relationships flow and get better the more you love on yourself, heal yourself, see yourself. The more compassion you have for yourself, the more compassion you'll have for others. The more love you have for yourself, the more love you'll have for others. It will naturally happen because that's the energy you're exuding. Working on yourself and having a beautiful relationship with yourself is the blueprint, the foundation to every relationship you end up having. That doesn't mean you have to go into a hiatus in order for you to heal completely. It just means that you actually have to work on the relationship you have with yourself the same way you would work on a relationship you have with a husband or a wife. You have to actually care more about the relationship you have with yourself than of getting a relationship to work that is outside of you. Because you won't know what to do. And it won't work out the way that it actually should work out if you're not doing the work on you. This is why we get into these misguided situations. We end up unfulfilled. Sometimes we end up perfectly fine and okay. But there's a part of us that just feels like something's missing. Or you end up in relationships that naturally start to feel a divide because you feel you need more time for you. You didn't get to live the life you want, whatever the case may be. This stuff happens because the relationship we have with ourselves matters 10 times more than any other relationship, because that will guide all of the other relationships. It will guide every relationship. It will guide the relationship with your kids, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your friends, with even your professional coworkers and colleagues. It will guide every other relationship, because the things that you don't tolerate from you, you won't tolerate from someone else. The boundaries you keep with yourself, you will make sure you keep with others. The core beliefs that you have in your life, you will make sure that you operate that way with others. You building a relationship with you bringing you to your own table and realize that you are the table, that anything that anyone else brings is because of the energy that you carry. You're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game. So the next time you think of what you bring to the table, when you ask yourself, am I worth it? Is this person worth it? What does this person bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? Regardless of where you are on the spectrum, whether it's you have no clue and you don't think you bring anything, or you know you're bomb.com and you bring everything to the table. Stop thinking about the physicalities of it. Stop thinking about what it is that you can do for others. And instead, ask yourself, what am I aligning with at my table? Because that's the only thing you're going to bring in. What are you bringing to your own table? Who are you? Because whoever you are is exactly who you're going to attract. And what they bring to the table is exactly what you're bringing to. One way or another, you are absolutely aligning. So if you take nothing else from this podcast, that's the one thing that I really, really want you to take away. You matter. Your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship that you will have. And you will have it forever and ever and ever. So it's something that you should spend a lot of energy, time, money on building a stronger relationship with you, energetically aligning yourself with not just what you think you want, but with who you actually are. We're so physical and material. Even when we're like, I'm not materialistic, we are. We think about material things. We think about the stuff that we need to be doing when we think about aligning our energies. But it's actually about who you're being, who you're embodying, who you decide to show up as, and making sure that that's true to you, true to your purpose, true to your energy, true to your everything. This right here is the key to building phenomenal relationships, and the key of letting go of relationships that really are not for you. When you can do that with you, when you are your main priority and you are consistently pouring into the relationship with yourself, you will always bring exactly what you need to the table. And somebody in alignment with you will always match that energy. So I'm going to leave it right there. I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for listening in, for showing up, for being with me every single week. Season 2 is going to come out when season 2 comes out. But for now, if this is your first time ever seeing this podcast pop up, seeing me pop up, what's up? I'm Briana. And this is the Table Podcast, right? Make sure you go back and rewatch or watch all of the other videos, right? Watch the entire series because they all connect with one another. And I'm telling you, this is something that I've watched clients, I've watched myself, I've watched so many people start this and really see that most of the people that they was aligned with is actually reflecting a lot about themselves. And they were able to shift that energy. And in shifting that energy, shifting the energy within themselves, making sure that the relationship within themselves is the thing they're working on, that's when they're able to actually move into better situations, allow themselves to accept certain things. And that's where they feel the most fulfilled. So I'm excited for season 2 because we're definitely going to get deeper into that relationship with yourself. But either way, just know you are the freaking table forever and always. Okay. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love.